Hello everyone, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access TV.
And I'm Kim Anderson, a board member at MCAT and the Director of Programs and Grants at Humanities Montana.
We want to welcome you to this, our last show of the year.
Of 2015.
Yeah, it's easy for us since we take the summer off, but still. The time goes by so fast, and you don't need to be reminded of it. But it is our annual holiday Christmas show.
Yeah, I love this.
And so we're going to do some reading eventually of Christmas-related poems, right? And
We've done extensive research.
Yes. Yeah, we have. And in the
Googling.
past, I don't know, did we do it for 3 or 4 years? I'm trying to remember when Fred Hafley came on.
Yes, and Neil and I read when the Grinch Stole Christmas. Right.
Do we have other guest readers?
Carolyn Patterson came one year with the Writing Collaborative.
That's right.
With
We're going to do
kids'
that again.
poems. We should do that again.
Next year. So I have a few MCAT things to discuss with you, dear viewer. I wanted to remind people that MCAT has training for the public. It's on every second Wednesday of the month. And this Wednesday is falling on December the 9th. We're doing this show on December the 7th. We haven't forgotten Pearl Harbor. We're still thinking about it. The show, the training rather, would be again on Wednesday, January the 13th. So this show you'll be seeing until January the 3rd, and then Kim and I will come back on the 4th.
Right.
On Monday.
Are they really going to play the show every day until the 3rd
yes.
of January?
Yeah, we've got to do a really good job. So I'm glad we're discussing a few things might be out of date, but I don't think so. Here's an important treatment of dates for those of you who have brought your kids 9 to 13-ish to MCAT's new animation workshop. It's every Saturday from 1 to 5 p.m. You can see it on our website that Scott is displaying to you at home. MCAT.org is where you can lay eyes on this. It's every Wednesday, $10 fee for 4 hours from 1 to 5 p.m.
Saturday.
Saturday, thank you. Wednesdays for the training. On December the 10th, whatever Saturday is coming up, they're going to do it, but they're not going to do it on those 2 holiday weekends. That's what I wanted to get at.
Okay.
They are taking off on the 26th.
So the Saturday,
and the 2nd.
Oh, okay. So the Saturday after Christmas, but the Saturday before Christmas will be.
That's okay.
Okay, good.
I have the date wrong, but
because this has been wildly successful.
So far a bunch of kids have come, and they've had a really good time. So what they're doing is playing with little Lego models, and they move it and take a picture and move it and take a picture. They also have a little wireframe. I also got them some sand that sticks together.
Ooh.
This was recently. I saw it at Michael's when I was buying something else. So the kids seem to really enjoy it, and they take a little breaks and wander around our capacious space here. So it's not like we're whipping them into this.
And did I hear that there were snacks involved?
Not yet.
Oh, maybe not. Feed them.
They should. They hadn't yet. But anyway, bear in mind, animation workshop. There's one more Saturday, if not 2 in this month, and then it will return in earnest January the 9th. Oh, I wanted to say this. Stories and Stones are on YouTube. We've only got it all processed, from the end of October. So if you go to MCAT's YouTube channel, it's MCAT TV on YouTube. You will see a number of your friends and neighbors giving life to former figures of the village.
Yes, that's a wildly successful at the cemetery, right?
They do the cemetery in the last
historical figures, living history.
Yeah. Mary Gleim.
Yes. She used to be on our Speakers Bureau. Yeah, she's wonderful.
Okay, and I think I'm done, Kim, so you can talk about Humanities Montana. You said there was a grant deadline.
Yes, I just have one quick thing, and that is if you're watching in the next few weeks, we have a grant deadline of December 20th, and that is for all grants of any amount over $1,000 with no upper limit for projects in the humanities, whether it's a conference on a history topic or a workshop you're putting together, or a digitalization project, or an English literature project. If it's a humanities discipline and it's open to the public, we would be happy to fund it or consider funding it. And also fellowships. If you are a researcher and you are not going towards a degree, you don't have to be within traditional academia. You can be an independent scholar, but if you're researching a project that would be of interest to Montanans, it doesn't have to be a Montana subject per se, those grants are of up to $4,000, and they're the only grants that we give to individuals. Our regular grants are for organizations, not for profit organizations. So if it sounds like we might be able to help you in whatever humanities work you're doing, go to our website, which is right there, humanitiesmontana.org, and hit the grants button up top, and you'll see our guidelines and our online application. Scott, you're brilliant. There it is.
Nice.
That's it.
All right, that's it for me. So we can welcome a very patient John
Yes,
Cohn,
thank you,
Supervisor
John.
of Fine Arts for Missoula County Public Schools. Welcome. Thanks for waiting.
Thank you. I really appreciate the invitation to be here.
Well, the inspiration was the season, right?
That is.
I thought I should get John to come on to our Christmas show and talk about all of the holiday music the Missoula County Public Schools is presenting to the public.
Well, if you want me to talk about all the music that's going to be presented, we would need an extended version of the
Right.
show.
We could do a 2-hour show.
Well, you don't have to name them, but we thought of a shortcut, right? And that was to direct people to the website.
Right. Every school is going to have a holiday program at some point in the next 2 weeks,
Right.
starting tomorrow with some kindergartners at Paxson. And we have a Big Sky Band concert tomorrow night, and then from then on until Friday of next week, we are rolling. And a lot of folks can just, if you drive by the school, probably on their reader board, you're going to see when they've got their concert up. But the best way to go and make sure that you've got the accurate time, date, and all that is to go to mcpsmt.org. That's the district website.
And they're showing it now. It's
Great.
Yeah.
full
And then there's
of
the little
different
holiday
events.
ribbon there, and if you click in that area, it'll bring up the schedule
Yeah.
of what's going on.
Look
It
at
does
that.
look really
And you'll
thick.
notice there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So it's great. I would recommend that you get to some of those programs, especially the grade school ones, a little early. Because they absolutely pack out. Mom and Dad and Grandma and Grandpa and all the friends and
Right.
relatives and a couple of spare dogs are brought in
Right.
to see the kids do their thing, and it is just such an enjoyable time. You know, I get to watch as many of these programs as I possibly can, and I always get a kick out of the fact that here are some songs that everybody knows that's being done,
Sure.
but yet they're never the same. Depending on what's going on with what age level or what teacher's
Right.
doing, they have a different way of doing them, and it's just delightful to see all the different ways that we celebrate the season in this community.
And I have to say, nothing gets you into the holiday spirit more effectively than listening to our children make the traditional music that we've all known and some new songs. And so I think even, you know, even if your children are grown like mine are, it's still a wonderful thing to do, to go to your neighborhood school, find out when they've got a concert, and go hear those kids. They're great.
They're great, and they just love that time, you know, to see just that kind of encouragement
Yeah.
from the audience. And then, of course, it's a big deal. I mean, they've been working for, you know, several weeks on this music, and so it's really nice to have the community appreciate what they've done.
Right.
Yeah, I think kids are really counting on a clutch of people in that audience.
No
doubt.
That makes a big difference.
And
to
they
them.
will go and they will search out that mom and dad and grandpa or special
Don't
person in
be
their life.
late.
Yeah, so thank you for all the work that you do to get off work or to
Right.
make those adjustments that you have to make in your schedule to get there to see your kid, because it makes a big difference to them.
Are most of them in the evening time?
Most of the grade school ones are during their school day.
Okay.
And then when we get into middle school and high school, then we start going into the evening concerts.
Yeah. That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
I mean, little kids are little kids. When they
Yeah.
get home, they're probably done. Like, they're not going out again. And so on. All right, that makes sense. And also, we are making a more open invitation, right, to people that don't necessarily have to have kids in that concert to
Right.
enjoy one. And that's why you're saying, too, for your neighborhood school.
Yeah. I'm
know,
going to
the
walk
one-
over to Paxson and
Yeah.
watch some of that.
And just see what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
like you don't need to have a kid in the concert
No,
to be
no.
welcome to
That's
go.
right, very much so. Yep, they're your public schools, and we just so appreciate the opportunity to have the fine arts program, you know, show what we've been working on for the past several
Yeah.
weeks in music.
That's excellent.
Do you have any sort of a vague idea of how many concerts there are?
You know, at one point I did make a count, and we were in the neighborhood of 60 or 70 concerts.
Oh my gosh!
So, I mean, there's a lot. And
I thought you were going to say 30,
no,
maybe.
no.
Wow.
No, it's a lot of them.
Because you're dealing with blocks of grade levels, right, as
Yeah.
performers. So it would be middle school, 6, 7, and 8.
Oh, and then
sometimes
kindergarten
there's
in first
combos.
grade, and second and third grade.
Yeah.
And then when you put in the fifth graders, of course, not only do they have their general music program, but then a lot of those kids are also playing in their beginning band or orchestra.
Orchestra,
So they're
right.
playing in that as well.
Sure.
And then we have special choirs, and it's
And there's combos. Sometimes I've seen, like, you know, 8th grade something with all city
Right, yep.
something,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing.
And the younger ages, I think one of the funnest things is to just watch them arranging themselves on the risers, which is a huge deal.
Yeah, you want to be impressed with somebody, you should know that if you can get 2 grade levels of kindergartners
On risers.
risers, then that teacher is awesome.
Hurting
Yeah,
pets.
boy, it's great. And they are there, they've got their thing, and they're going to do their song,
Right,
and it's going to
right.
be great. And it just gives you a lot of hope for the world.
Well, John, thanks so much for taking the time.
No, John's involved in some other things
Oh, my
too,
goodness,
isn't
yes. I wrote it right here. Thank you,
Right.
Pam. First night. We've got to
We
change
should
tack
remind
just
people.
a little bit.
Yes.
And Scott was going to show the website just so people at home be able to clear the palette of concern away from concerts onto first night.
For someone who is new to Missoula, because the rest of us really know
We know
First
about
Night
it.
and love it. But can you explain what it is? real
First night is
quickly?
just Missoula's way to celebrate the new year. We've got so many acts and people that are coming in that want to perform, from readers, chess players, bands, orchestras, bagpipes, I mean, you name it, and they're performing. And it starts early in the afternoon and it goes until past midnight.
Right.
And it's just a great evening. The one thing I would like to mention is that we're always in need of volunteers. And that's people that come in and help us with counting or checking the buttons, because you get to
Right.
buy a button to attend, and all the logistics that there are involved with that. And so if you're interested in helping us out with that, just call the Missoula Cultural Council, and that again is on the website there, missoulacultural.org. And we'd love to put you in the mix, because we have a lot of folks that come back year after year, and I figure they must do it for a reason. I think they enjoy
Oh.
themselves.
Yeah.
It's fun,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you get to take part in First
Right.
Night, and you know what you're doing New Year's Eve, which is a good thing.
That's right.
And also, if you're interested in just wandering around town and going as an audience person, then go to the website, and it'll tell you, I'm sure, where you
Right.
can buy buttons.
Yeah, that's right. And then also we have our First Night Spotlight, which features some high school students from each of the high schools in a, kind of a talent show event
right.
that happens, and we are really excited about.
And this is going to be at the new Wilma?
We are looking at a new location this year.
Okay.
Oh.
So,
But this has just been getting bigger and bigger.
yeah,
every year.
it's just really
Yeah.
exciting. So, so have folks check that out as well.
All right. Now I got it all.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks for both items, John.
Thank
You
you,
bet.
John, for
My
bringing
pleasure.
all the music to our families,
that's
to all of
amazing.
us in Missoula, and for being on the board of the Missoula Cultural Council, and for coming to talk to us
You
today.
bet. My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you know what? We'll be right back. We'll see if Gary Gillette's here. If not, well, maybe
Christmas
Scott, should
song?
you show him Tuba Christmas? All right.
Okay.
Scott's going to show you Tuba Christmas, and we'll try to figure out the details in case we can't find Gary of when this is going to be at the mall, as they do every year. But here's a clip of the kind of entertainment you can expect in a mall-like setting. Scott brought some of the players of Tuba Christmas into MCAT Studios last week,
Oh,
and here
great.
is one of the tunes they made.
Santa brings toys to good girls and boys. He's done it for years and years. But who would have thought that Santa has got a special wish of his own? Oh, well, Santa gets a tuba for Christmas. He never got a present before. Santa wants a tuba for Christmas. It's all that he's ever asked for. It's all that he's ever asked for. Will Santa get a tuba in his stocking this year?
That
back.
is so great. That was so great. Do we know when they're going to be at the mall?
Oh, I meant to find out while it was playing.
I know, we got
It's,
distracted.
We did get
Oh,
distracted.
wait. Oh, here we go. It's on the screen. December 11th, 7
Friday,
p.m.
This Friday, the live next
Mm-hmm.
week. And of course, it will be a wonderful past event beyond December 11th. But
Because if you can't get to the mall to see it in live, you can watch it on MCAT,
yeah, that's
right?
really true.
That's what we're
And
here
you just saw
for.
this little clip.
Yeah.
Right. And speaking of which, I did say that I would do a little intro
Yes.
to the clip of the parade of lights that's sponsored by the Missoula Downtown Association
Mm-hmm.
and the Business Improvement District and the Missoula Downtown Foundation. And in this parade of lights, Scott recorded it from the rooftop, Ron recorded it from the street level,
Oh.
and our internet, our tech IT man, Justin Mencall, who's a high schooler, has a wonderful float in it, which is the Christmas tree. So I don't know if it's going to be in this clip. Scott's going to show you guys a home of the parade of lights, but you'll see perhaps this giant Christmas tree on a float with a young fella standing precariously atop the pulling vehicle, which is like an SUV or something.
Right.
And that's Justin. So go ahead, Scott, feel free to roll that clip and we'll come back with our readings. Okay, and we're
Hi.
back.
That was fun to
We're
see.
back with our poems, right?
Now, for people who just saw that little clip and were thinking, oh, I'd love to see the whole
Now, that's a
parade,
good point.
can they go to our YouTube
Yeah,
channel?
that's where it came from.
Yeah.
They could go to YouTube, MCAT TV. So first just go to YouTube, then put in MCAT
There we go. There it's
dot
showing us.
space dot TV. And, you know, it organizes uploads in the order in which you made them.
So it's something recent like the Parade of Lights
Yeah,
would
something
be
recent
right
like
there.
that will be there. Like you see, there's popular uploads like that Lego zombie vampire movie at 110,000 views.
Oh my
It's extremely
gosh.
popular. And then there's two how-to. And then there's the John Krakauer discussion down at the Doubletree.
Right.
Getting 14,000
That's
views.
great, too.
Another one I can't read. But where it says uploads, there'll be two. You know, the rooftop view of the downtown
Oh, right.
parade in addition to the street level.
So you can see it from the street level or an eagle eye
Yes,
view.
The eagle eye view. Well, Kim, you want to go first, or I can?
I'll go first.
All right, then I'll go
have
second.
we have a few poems, and this one I should set this one up a little bit. I just came across this today, and it's very strange, but kind of interesting with beautiful language. But it's called Conches on Christmas, and that's because it's about a guy who's spending Christmas at the beach who finds a whole bunch of conch, the sea creature, that have washed up on his shore. So I just wanted to set that scene so you can understand what's going on in this poem. It's a little strange. It's called Conches on Christmas by Mike Chaser. Diluvian, draggled, and derelict posse, this barnacled pod so pales next to everything we hear of red tides and pilot whales that a word like drama makes me sound remiss, except that there was a kind of literal drama in the way the shells silently sans the heraldry of bells, neatly sans an astrological affair, and swiftly sans a multitude of feet, flat out arrived. An encrusted school of 24 Gabriellan trumpets at my beach house door, and barely half alive. Oh, you can bet I picked them up, waded right up to my ankles in there among 'em, hefted 'em up to my ears to hear the din of all things ocean-wise and wet. But every of the ancient bearded anthracite saltwater-logged spirals, every of the massive and unwieldy magisterial mollusks shut tight. No din, no horns roaring reveille, no warning, no beat, no taps, no choral corpus, no porpoise purpose, except it was a secret purpose kept strictly under wraps. A fine Christmas gift indeed, this obscure migration, this half-dead conch confederation, which would have smelled Jan Tannenbaum like fish. A fine set of unwrappable presents and no receipt by which I could redeem them. I lifted one up by its stem and thought of how, by increments, all 24 must have lugged those pre-assembled bodies here, sans Santa, sleigh, and 8 little reindeer, to my drasty stretch of shore. And no other explanation being offered for the situation, I thought that I might understand how one could argue that the impulse driving them to land was a sort of evolutionary one. Misguided, yes, redundant, a million years too late, a needless, maybe rogue and almost campy demonstration of how history, even in the world of the invertebrate, repeats itself. Breaker crashing down on breaker in the Gulf. Gulf War coming after Gulf War. Oh, Maker, there is so much slug inside these shells here at the end of December, at the edge of a world I couldn't blame if you did not remember. Miracles sell well. But Lord, it can be numbing to a people who cannot tell between a second nature and a second thought, a second chance, or a second coming.
That was pretty
cool?
good.
I like that poem a lot.
It made me, when you're reading it, I liked all the sands.
Uh-huh,
You know, like
right.
the sand.
Great
part of it.
language. Diluvian, draggled, and derelict.
Now, who
Okay.
was the author of your-
It's Mark, I don't know if it's Chasser or Chaser, Chasar.
Okay. Maybe I'm going to do my hard one.
Good, do your hard one, because that one was pretty hard, yeah.
It does seem kind of hard. This is Mark Doty, and he had a very good, I don't know if you're familiar with this poet, Mark Doty.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Because he had this, lavish review in the Wikipedia. of
He's
his
very
life
well
and
known.
work. Very well known. Poetry. Because we did a lot of traditional readings
Yes.
on the show. Hans Christian Andersen, Dylan Thomas. And after this, we'll go to a clip to give us a break of Ocean Belcher.
Right.
As such was her name. A student who was a work-study student at MCAT and from, I think, Australia, or might have been New Zealand. And she will read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
Yes, that's
with
fun.
her down under accent. But I'll just try in my own accent to read this. This poem, "The Messiah," is about an amateur performance of the great choral work, Handel's Messiah, as every year, I guess, in Missoula, it's performed.
That's right.
Right? We just had on as a guest Anne Marie from,
Right.
and she talked about it. I don't know how it went here in town. I went to see it a couple of times in the past.
I didn't see it this year,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it was packed. It always
But
is.
that's what happens, right? Is that amateurs sign up to be in a chorus, and there's a whole group of people, maybe in this instance from a small town, that are putting together
Oh, that
the
way.
performance. And that's what the poem is about. And it's a Christmas favorite, the Messiah. And even my poem says Messiah, Christmas portions, in parentheses, as though the poem Messiah might be longer. So here you go with this Messiah, Christmas portions by Mark Doty. A little heat caught in gleaming rags, in shrouds of veil, torn and sun-shot swaddlings. Over the Methodist roof, two clouds propose a Zion of their own, blazing colors of tarnish on copper, against the steely close of a coastal afternoon. December, while under the steeple, the choral society prepares to perform Messiah, pouring in their best black and whites onto the raked stage. Not steep, really, but from here, the first pew, they're a looming cloud bank of familiar angels, that neighbor who fights operatically with her girlfriend for one, and the friendly bearded clerk from the post office, a tenor trapped in the body of a baritone, altos from the A&P, soprano from the t-shirt shop. Today they're all poise, costume, and purpose, conveying the right note of distance and formality. Silence in the hall, anticipatory, as if we're all about to open a gift we're not sure we'll like. But how could they compete with sunset's burnished oratorio, thoughts which vanish when the violins begin? Who thought they'd be so good? Every valley, proclaims the solo tenor, a sleek blonde I've seen somewhere before. The liquor store shall be exalted. And in his handsome mouth, the word is lifted and opened into more syllables than we could count. Central awe, dilated in a baroque melisma, liquefied, the pour of the voice seems to make the unplaned landscape the text predicts the Lord will heighten and tame. This music demonstrates what it claims. Glory shall be revealed. If art's acceptable evidence, mustn't what lies behind the world be at least as beautiful as the human voice? The tenors lack confidence, and the soloists, half of them anyway, don't have the strength to found the mighty kingdoms. These passages propose, but the chorus altogether equals my burning clouds, and seems itself to burn, commingled powers, deed it to a larger and centering claim. These aren't anyone we know. Choiring dissolves familiarity in an outpouring rush which will not rest, will not for a moment be still. Aren't we enlarged by the scale of what we're able to desire? Everything the choir insists might flame inside these wrappings, burns one another. Brighter life, quicken now, by song hear how in cascades and overlapping lapidary waves of praise. Still time to change.
Oh,
I like that.
that's beautiful.
I never really read it before now, but I think I like it.
It's
it has
very
like
nice.
a wave of
Uh-huh.
redemption or whatever.
And you know how it kind of, it starts on the kind of homely, oh, that's my neighbor,
Yeah.
or didn't I see him at the liquor store? And then it elevates itself,
Right.
kind of.
Like it's
yeah.
the song.
Yeah,
that
the
rebirth.
music, yeah, it's very beautiful.
Always time to change. And salvation, which is, I think, salvation is kind of the standby of the group singing. Mm-hmm. Amazing grace, saving a wretch like me.
That's right.
Isn't that a wonderful line? What was it?
At the very end?
Yeah. Aren't we enlarged by the scale of what we're able to desire?
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. Nothing like a little striving. So we just gave you two very modern Christmas poems. I hope we didn't alienate our traditional audience. And just to make sure,
Yes, let's bring us back.
that's right, we're going to bring you back with a big slug of Ocean Belcher in this clip, which was recorded 2 years ago. Scott's ready with
Right?
it.
Little old school Christmas.
Old school. 'Twas the night before. And here it is, Ocean Belcher, MCAT 2013.
Down under.
It was the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, with visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke had encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside on his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and all a good night."
Okay, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that.
Yes.
Our own Ron Scholl, he did the cutaways, the illustration for that. And we were just musing, Kim and I, just thinking of Ocean Belcher. She had spent like 6 months here at MCAT from New Zealand, had studied in London, then at University of Montana, and we took her on this work study, and she gave that reading 2 years ago, December. So what have you got for the people?
Oh, well, since we just heard Clement Seymour, this is a little more traditional than the poems Joel and I read earlier, and a little more in the Clement Seymour mode. It is called To Mrs. K on Her Sending Me an English Christmas Plum Cake at Paris. And it's by a woman named Helen Maria Williams. And I don't know anything about her, but it's kind of charming. What crowding thoughts around me wake, what marvels in a Christmas cake. Ah, say, what strange enchantment dwells enclosed within its odorous cells. Is there no small magician bound, encrusted in its snowy round? For magic surely lurks in this, a cake that tells of vanished bliss. A cake that conjures up to view the early scenes when life was new, when memory knew no sorrows past and hope believed in joys that last. Mysterious cake whose folds contain life's calendar of bliss and pain, that speaks of friends forever fled and wakes the tears I love to shed. Oft shall I breathe her cherished name, from whose fair hand the offering came. For she recalls the artless smile of nymphs that deck my native isle, of beauty that we love to trace, allied with tender, modest grace. Of those who, while abroad they roam, retain each charm that gladdens home, and whose dear friendship can impart a Christmas banquet for the heart.
Oh, that is very sweet.
That's quite a thank you for your Christmas plum cake.
No,
This person loved that
and there
cake.
was a certain sentimentality in there. You think like there were tears that they love to shed.
Yes.
That sometimes happen, which I think is nice.
Right.
Okay, and they're going to do the downer one as like the counterpoint. Because mine also came from Poetry Foundation, and this was called The Christmas Letter by John N. Morris. And I feel like it came from, it says Home Poetry Magazine, February 1977.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. I feel like the date is important for this
Oh.
poem. It's a very stark poem, like
Mhm.
there it is, and it reads that way. And there's something about minimalism, I'm not sure. To see if this sounds like 1977 to you. The Christmas Letter. Wherever you are, when you receive this letter, I write to say, we are still ourselves, in the same place, and hope you are the same. The dead have died, as you know, and will never get better. And the children are boys and girls, of their several ages and names. So in closing, I send you our love, and hope to hear from you soon. There is never a time like the present. It lasts forever. Wherever you are, as ever, I remain.
That's
So
great.
it's got a little, I don't know what it is,
I think
but
it's like
very...
a response to those horrible mimeographed
Generic,
Christmas letters that everyone sends, where they're 5 pages long, and you
And
know.
list the accomplishments, typically.
Right, and
Or-
this is just kind of anonymous boys and
Right,
girls, and
boiling it down to the...
the bare basics. No, minimalism is
Yeah,
right.
'cause I felt it had this kind of Zen property to it.
I
right?
love
There's
it.
never a time like the present. It lasts
Forever.
because we only live
That's
in the present.
Pretty ominous in some
Yeah.
ways.
Well, I've got another one.
Oh, good.
This is the Jane Canyon one, and it's called "Taking Down the Tree." And I don't know, it's got a little something that spoke to me, so I have to like speak it out verbatim. "Taking Down the Tree" by Jane Canyon. "Give me some light," cries Hamlet's uncle midway through the murder of Gonzago. "Light, light," cries scattering courtesans. Here, as in Denmark, it's dark at 4, and even the moon shines with only half a heart. The ornaments go down into the box. The silver spaniel, my darling on its collar from Mother's childhood in Illinois. The balsa jumping jack my brother and I fought over, pulling limb from limb. Mother had to drew it together again with thread, while I watched feeling depraved at the age of 10. With something more than caution, I handled them, and the lights, with their tin star-shaped reflectors, brought along from house to house their pasteboard toy suitcases, increasingly flimsy. Tick, tick, the desiccated needles drop. By supper time, all that remains is the scent of balsam fir. If it's darkness we're having, let it be extravagant.
Oh,
So I'm not sure. I mean, I guess it's like that empty feeling.
I like
The tree comes down, you know.
But also all the strong emotions that are attached to those old ornaments, you know. I'm very much that way.
Yeah.
And like all my kids had their own favorite ornament, and
Right.
you know, I can imagine blood being shed. Yeah.
Yeah, and this jumping jack thing, I think like you pulled
Yeah,
it and then the
uh-huh.
little arms went up. I
Right.
think I did have maybe
Right.
made out of cardboard. That, you know, made it as a school project, something like that. But yeah, this is, I guess, you know, to a degree, it is the bittersweet danger of Christmas time. When it's a tradition, then you start measuring, and time becomes a little more resonant, right?
Right.
Because who's not here for this Christmas, or how much has that person changed,
Mhm.
and so on. So I think some people, they do breathe a sigh of relief when the tree comes down, and others do feel that emptiness too. So I like that poem. It's kind of a great last liner.
Yes.
If it's darkness we're having, let it be
Extravagant.
extravagant. Really dark, or, you know, hard to say. Now, Scott told us we were going to set up something else, and now I forgot what it was.
We're going to have another Tube of Christmas
Oh, that's
episode,
right.
and then I have one other poem
Yeah.
we can read when we come back.
Yeah,
and then
I've got my Wallace Stevens.
Oh,
It's
good.
kind of a generic
winter.
people gathering poem. I think it's really good.
Yes.
And what time is it? We're doing great on time.
Yeah.
It's like quarter of the hour. So, yes, let's give another plug. We understand that it is Friday, December 11th, even though the show will be on every day to January 3rd. If you're watching the show before Friday, December 11th, you can go out in the evening to the mall
Go to the
and
mall.
see the Tube of Christmas where, and this is another instance of crowdsourcing, you know, like the Messiah. If you own a tuba, right, you go to a school and they like,
So many of us do.
they briefly, well, some people have had a brush with brass in their past. And they go to this school nearby the mall, it might be Sentinel, and they rehearse, like, roughly, you know, what they're gonna play.
I
in the
think it's
mall.
probably Jefferson.
Maybe it's Jefferson, the Fine Art Center, right? And that's on South, right by the mall. And then they take to the mall where they play these
Yeah.
tunes, and it gives, to my mind, a very Scroogey, Streets of London,
Right.
you know, type feeling.
Yeah.
So anyway, Scott asked Gary Gillette and some other participants in this club, this activity, to come to the MCAT studio, and he recorded clips of them doing some of the songs. But there'll be lots more tuba players at the mall, and the acoustics will be
Yeah,
very
yeah.
reverberating.
And this might be a clip from a previous mall performance,
Oh,
I
that's
think.
right, that's right. See,
Yeah.
you're so smart to remember this stuff. Today I'm forgetting everything. So this actually is at the mall,
Yeah.
this clip.
So this is very similar to what you will see on
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah, folks, look how. sun just went out for
Oh my
indeed, it was
goodness.
just snowing.
We're just talking.
no good reason.
Joel is wearing 3 microphones
Yeah,
now,
I'm
just
wearing
to be
1, 3, and
sure
4.
you hear him clearly.
That's right.
Well, I have one last poem to read, and I think it's an appropriate poem to read because it alludes to immigrants
Oh, that's
and people who come to this country seeking a better life. So I think that's a nice thing to think about this time of year. It's called Christmas 1970, and it's by Sandra M. Castillo. We assemble the silver tree, our translated lives, its luminous branches numbered to fit into its body, place its metallic roots to decorate our first Christmas. Mother finds herself opening, closing the Red Cross box she will carry into 1976, like an unwanted door prize, a timepiece, a stubborn fact, an emblem of exile measuring our days, marked by the moment of our departure, our lives no longer arranged. Somewhere there is a photograph, a Polaroid Mother cannot remember was ever taken. I am sitting under Tia Tara's Christmas tree, her first apartment in this, our new world. My sister's by my side. I wear a white dress, black boots, an 8-year-old's resignation. May and Mitzi, age 4, wear red and white snowflake sweaters and identical smiles on this, our first Christmas away from ourselves. The future unreal, unmade, Mother will cry into the new year with Lydia and Emerito, our elderly downstairs neighbors, who realize what we are too young to understand. Even a map cannot show you the way back to a place that no longer exists.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a heavy one indeed.
Yeah.
Really does show the sympathy, for the traveler, the immigrant, and so on.
Right. Well, and when you think about the Christian connotations of Christmas and a very pregnant couple making their way
Oh my goodness.
to a different place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's kind of a downer, but I thought,
Yeah, that's a territory one. It is kind of a downer, but it makes me think of, it painted a picture, where you take something familiar, like the Christmas tradition, right, into your new world, like the new
Right.
country, gives you like a little feeling of home.
yeah.
In Portuguese, and maybe it's more specific to South American, Brazilian Portuguese, the word saudade, and it means like a longing, just like there's a longing,
Like almost
kind of for
an
the past,
nostalgic
for that, right, for the
feeling.
horizon. It's like nostalgia with a hook in it.
Right.
But,
A little deeper.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what people get sometimes when they get sad at the holiday
Yeah.
time. It's like a nostalgia, like, oh, this time is really bad, but this other time was wonderful.
Yeah, there is, I think all of us, no matter how happy we are, we
Yeah.
kind of have that yearning of a better time past.
Yeah.
When probably really there was no better time.
Yeah, it probably wasn't that good, but you just round off the edges.
Yeah, I wonder
Time
how
working
that-
as a beautiful sandpaper on all the bumps, and so on.
Now you have some Wallace Stevens, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe that's a good place to end. We can end a
Good.
little early. Everyone, including the viewership, can take a break, 5-minute break. They're like, oh, wow.
Go get a Christmas
We
cookie.
didn't have to stay the whole hour. That was nice of them. So yeah, this is a Wallace Stevens poem that I heard in a yoga class around the corner, Yoga Fitness Center. But I really liked it. I think maybe the teacher had read it for Thanksgiving. But it really works for any kind of family gathering, I think, or gathering of friends or something like that. So here, I don't know the title of it.
Oh,
Not terrible. So if you're looking for it at home, it's Wallace Stevens, but you'd have to, like me, I'd heard it in class and it stuck with me for several months. And then I'd Google Wallace Stevens and Wallace Stevens poems. It took me a year and a half to find it.
or you can try to really hard to remember the first line.
Yeah,
and then
maybe
just
that will
type it in.
help. So here is the whole thing, including the first line. Even if there had been a crescent moon on every cloud tip over the heavens, drenching the evening with crystal's light, one would have wanted more, more. more, some true interior to which to return, a home against oneself, a darkness, an ease in which to live a moment's life, the moment of life's love and fortune, free from everything else, free above all from thought. It would have been like lighting a candle, like leaning on the table, shading one's eyes, and hearing a tale one wanted intensely to hear, as if we were all seated together again, and one of us spoke, and all of us believed, and what we heard, and the light, though little, was enough.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Isn't it pretty amazing?
Can you read the last stanza again?
Yeah. As if we were all seated together again, and one of us spoke, and all of us believed, and what we heard, and the light, though little, was enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that is seems very appropriate. for the
Doesn't
holiday.
it? You know,
Yeah.
it has that sense, that saudade, as if we were all seated together again,
Yeah.
right? And it's not a lot, but what it was
It's
enough.
enough.
Yeah. Well, oh, that's very sad. Okay, so
Happy holidays
happy
to
holidays to everyone.
everyone out there
Thanks for coming.
in MCAT land.
Yeah. We will be back, as I mentioned, on January the 4th, and we'll do another calendar year anyway, though we seem to live in the academic year,
Right.
even though we have long since put such
Matriculated.
pleasures away. But
A
we will
whole
be
new
back.
year,
Yeah.
a whole new show.
That's right.
New
people.
attitudes.
New attitudes for you, too. So from all of us, MCAT Board of Directors, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
We'll see you again next year.